Welcome back to Junior's Maltby channel, YouTube. I don't know where to start with today's news. Sorry I've taken a couple days off, but you know, it was the weekend, had some other things to do. But me and the old Morgan dollar, we're back, and I won the Korean lottery. That's big news. I don't know how much it was, but looks like a lot of money. That was Malaysian money there. But yeah, got a couple thousand won here. So I wonder what I can get with that. I don't know yet, but it's obviously valuable. A government made it and they put a 1 and a bunch of zeros on it. So I'm guessing that I can buy stuff with it, even though it's paper. Okay, enough joking around. Let's get to some interesting news before the week starts. It's Saturday. It's March 16th. Let's talk about the EU, Europe. Big news coming out of there. It looks like Cyprus, they won the lottery. Any of you familiar with what's happening right now? Yeah, the little island of Cyprus. The first headline I read yesterday was 10 billion. The European Union, or the Eurozone, was agreeing to pay $10 billion, a $10 billion bailout, or 10 billion euros, I guess. That's like what is that, $1.50? $1.40? So now, today, it's at 13 billion with a B. The EU is going to give a little island 13 billion. So let's do some mappage here. I'm dropping money all over the place. Alright, I did some research. There's an estimate of 1 million people on the island, according to Wikipedia. Now, the census revealed 839,000 people on the entire island. That's not a lot. That's less people than the city of San Jose. So you got this tiny little island over here in Europe. Okay, you got Italy over here. This isn't going to be the most accurate map, ladies and gentlemen. So please don't get me wrong on my whatever you want to call it, my geography here. I don't need a geography lesson. We'll put the French up here. Okay, we've got Britain over here. You know, that part of it, we'll put them there. Adriatic Sea comes down here. We have, you know, what used to be the Yugoslavic region. Then we have Greece over here. Anyways. Straits of Gibraltar, North Africa, all the North African countries up here. Alright, Mediterranean. You get my drift. We'll put Germany up here because they're important. And then Switzerland, Austria, and all the little countries that have a lot of money down in here. A couple little Belgium. Alright, you get it. So we got Europe here. The EU. Alright, England's not part of it. Their currency's crap anyway, the pound sterling. Jim Rogers warned us about that. We know Spain's billions in the broke, right? They don't have anything. That's like that one uncle that comes to every single family reunion and tells everyone how broke he is and hopes someone's going to give him a handout. So, Spain broke. Portugal broke. Italy's broke. So broke. You're familiar with the term pigs. We have Portugal, Italy, Ireland, Greece, and Spain. So, Greece, they're over here, right? They're broke. Greece is super broke. Ireland, they're up here, they're broke. They got bailed out a bunch, didn't they? So, when they talk about the EU bailing out this little island of Cyprus here with their, what is it, the euros? Who here's giving them the money? Who's coming up with this 13 billion? Who's printing that off with a B? A B. Man, my art, I'm telling you, I'm inspired. This art. I'm just kidding. It's horrible. But anyways, do you see what I'm painting here, this little picture? Okay, you got all these countries that make up, well, again, England doesn't make it up. They're out. But the pigs, you've got, even France, they were going through problems. They're broke. The only country here, the only country that's binding the euro together, the only country in Europe with any real industry or mechanism to produce wealth, or that has wealth, is Germany. Germany's in the gold. Or, they got the Bundesbank, which does have gold. The Bundesbank of Germany. Germany's in the clear. So basically what we're saying is the EU is not giving Cyprus anything. The German people are giving Cyprus everything. They're gonna foot the bill. It boggles my mind how this keeps happening. And if the EU, wasn't it a year ago? Everyone was talking about the EU breaking apart. They had no money. They couldn't do anything. There was every day you turn on the news, there was a crisis. It was either Italy, then it was Spain, then it was Portugal, then it was Ireland, and then it was Italy again. And they talked about Greece. Oh my God, Greece! Every day you turned on the news, Greece was going broke. Am I the only? Am I crazy? Was I hallucinating that for 2 years, or was that actually happening? Then it all went away. Somehow these guys in wigs and in these high palaces or these towers somewhere miraculously printed off euros, and they bailed them out with executive fiat, with just boom, here you go, here's money on a screen. Interesting. And you wonder how that happens, how this whole thing is held together is beyond me. But I think this is critical. Again, I'm talking to the less than 1,000th of 1/10 of 100th of 1% of the people that are actually watching this channel right now. And probably less than that are even still watching it. I really think this is going to influence metals this week a little bit. I think you're going to see gold break 1,600 this week. Okay? Not for just this reason, but I think this little crisis that we see scribbled out here, I think you're going to see gold break 1,600. It's hanging out at 1,590. This is going to create some pressure. You can't just come up with 13 billion euro, will it into the system, and bail out a little island. Let's do the math on that, by the way. Let's round it up. All right? Let's say there's 1 million people on there. There's 1 million people on the island of Cyprus, supposedly. According to the census, 890,000 or so. Okay? So, if it's 13 billion... See, my calculator, darn it, doesn't even go to that range. What is that? Is that like... What? How much is that? Let's write it down on here. Let's see, 13. It's 13 million. There we go. Alright. So that's 13 billion, right? Am I right? Probably going to get some wicked comments on my math. I know, I'm not thinking right now, alright? I'm just a little upset. So let's say we have 1 million people on the island. That means we can slash off these zeros, right? So that's 13 grand per person in the population. Is that proper? Is that proper math? I think so. So basically the EU is giving $13,000 worth of wealth to every person in this tiny nation of Cyprus. Cyprus is so small. What's the land area of Cyprus? The land area is... Let's stand by. Let's find it. It's quite small because it's only like 117 people per square mile or something. Come on, just stay with me. Stay with me. It is total area 9,251 square kilometers, or 3,572 square miles. That's there's people in the western United States that have ranches that big. It's not very big at all. So, alright, that's the big news there. That's the Cyprus news. Well, I'm out of breath. That one wore me out. Anyways, the EU, don't for a moment think that the EU thing's over. Between you and me, the EU thing is not over. Okay? Again, it's going to be like that kind of like that drug addict, drunk family member that just keeps coming back for more. Hey man, can you just loan me $15 more? My car broke down this week. Man, I've just been having a rough go. I haven't been able to find a job yet. And really, the reason I've been able to find a job is because he can't pass a piss test. And so you keep loaning them money, but yeah, as the years wear on, and you know you've bailed them out of jail, it just keeps happening. Pretty soon you recognize it as a pattern, and it's not going to get any better. So that's pretty much the EU and the US at this point. They're two staggering drunks. All right, they've pissed their pants. They're stumbling down the street, and they're just looking for more booze for the next high. And every time they get them, they find a big jug of booze, or someone prints off some booze for them. You know, they ride that high for a little bit, but then when the hangover kicks in, it starts to wear off. Then all hell breaks loose. We get sequestrations, and we get these, what did they call it? What did they call that again? The fiscal cliff, that precipice that we were all going to fall off of. We were just falling off this fiscal cliff. The whole nation was just, we were tumbling to free fall speed off that fiscal cliff. And it was horrible. It was horrible. So, all right, enough of that. Let's get back to the headlines. For the three of you that are still watching this, there's like 2 or 3 probably that are still at this point in the video that haven't gotten ADD and switched over to watch like Dancing with the Stars, or clicked the right side of their screen at some weird advertisement. All right. Interesting article on Time News. I can't believe they were actually, of all places, in Economy and Policy in Time Magazine. I might as well show you this right here. Let's find it for you. If there's no inflation, why are prices up so much? My little boys are having a fight downstairs, so they're playing Wii. They're actually like two little nation states. Sometimes I pretend that one of them is Israel and one of them is Palestine, and I got to go in there and broker peace deals and break them up. That's what it's like having 2 boys that are 2 years apart about. Anyways, if there's no inflation, why are prices up so much? Well, it's because there is inflation, and the people that are telling, the better question is, who's telling us there's no inflation, and why are they lying to us? That's the question I would ask. But okay, this guy's talking about ink in his printer and how it went up, and how gold was $930 an ounce at the end of the recession, and now it's $15.83. Obviously, things are going up. The price of gasoline has gone from $2.60 a gallon when the recession ended. It's $3.68 today, so $1 more a gallon. That's a 41% increase in 4 years. And I've encouraged you guys to do this before. I really would like every viewer to go out and to find Chris Martinson's video Crash Course. And when you watch it, if you watch any of it, just watch the fuzzy numbers section. Because you really should pay attention to how they calculate inflation. Everybody should. It's unbelievable how inflation and the numbers are kind of how the government comes up with them. It's incredible. Because they leave a lot of stuff out, like food, energy, gas, things that you really need and really buy and that are really affected by mass printing of currency. They leave those out. It's pretty incredible. Not to mention the some of the other things they do to lower and to make it look like inflation's not as bad as it is. Because if it was, they would have to make up for it with Medicare, Medicaid compensation, and Social Security. All right. So let's go back to. Okay, I found another one I was going to read for you guys and look at. All right, now, private British gold hoardings increased tenfold in 5 years. I thought this was an interesting article. This is out of The Guardian in the UK. Okay, bullion firm is revealing that British holdings increased tenfold in 5 years. So the Brits are actually, they're waking up. They're next to Europe. They see what's happening. Speculators and safe haven investors have plowed hundreds of millions of pounds into gold since the financial crisis began. Okay, good. That's a good sign. So apparently they are a little bit smarter than the Americans, because not very many of them are buying gold at this point in time. So, alrighty. Well, we're going to call that today's news. The Cyprus thing, I think, is the biggest one. And let's pay attention to that. Look at the euro and look at gold this week. Keep your eye on it. And remember, it's going to break 16.